Hello and welcome everyone to The Breakdown with your not so humble talking hairdo, Ben. What a day. What a day. I'm glad everybody's here with us today. We are coming to you live from the Neon Parrot Live studios at the Majestic Coffee Shop in historic downtown Abilene, Texas. We've got our segment with Big Frank today. He is actually going to join us from an airport because he's doing fun things and going to fun places. And we have we're going to recap last weekend's topics. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what my weekend looked like. And apparently the government is shut down. What does that mean for you? Absolutely nothing. But those pricks get a paid vacation. Way to go. Good for you guys. Enjoy that. Okay, last weekend, I would say the Breakdown crew traveled, but then I'd be lying. But I did find myself in front of a camera. Last weekend, me and my lovely, lovely fiance went to go see Aria at Aggieland in Texas A&M. At College Station, and it was such a fun time. It was crazy. There were some bumps in the road with tickets and things, but we got it worked out. But anyways, it was just an absolute madhouse. 110,000 people all in one arena, all in one Coliseum at Kyle Field. And man, it was, truly was. There's nothing quite like going to an SEC football game. It's just the truth. It was absolutely wild. The Aggies actually won the game. It was not the prettiest football game victory I've ever seen. There's not a lot of offense happening. I should have the score written down, but I don't, and that's okay. But we walked away with the W. The Aggies are 4-0 for the first time since 2016, which that's a pretty huge deal. They're number 6 ranked now after that victory. What else? We actually ended up staying at the Hilton, which is also, as we're walking in the evening we get there on Friday, I'm seeing all these ginormous dudes walking around the lobby and over towards the bar. They were not drinking, granted, they had a game the next day. But it was the Auburn football team and cheerleaders and staff at this hotel, and that was pretty crazy because if you've been tracking this show, this time last year, we were at the Texas Tech Cincinnati game, which the Cincinnati football team was also staying at the hotel that we were staying at that time, which is just kind of crazy. But that was fun. We ended up in the elevator with one of the largest men I've ever been in front of, and it turns out he was a defensive tackle for the Auburn Tigers, who ended up getting their ass kicked by the Aggies. Way to go. Gig 'em. But that's not it. That's it. But as we were going to lunch Saturday before the game, there was a reporter for the local news station that was looking for people to do little interview segments about tailgating and being Aggie fans and this and that. So, of course, your man here got in front of the camera and did what he does, which is give great content to this poor young girl. But I think Sammy's put up some cool pictures, maybe a little video of the weekend. I wanted to have some of that on the show. It was pretty sweet. Oh, yeah, check out the Travie Wavy before this show. Like, subscribe, comment. The one before this one's quite interesting. I was here for most of that. Anyhow, so Aggies win. Aggies play Mississippi State this weekend. They're a heavy favorite. However, That one's scary. If they got to play better than they played last weekend, I guess Mississippi State is on some sort of having a rough season. Maybe I haven't looked that closely, but hoping for an Aggie win. It is a blackout game. It is another home game. So we'll be rooting for the Aggies this weekend. We're going to get into some more college football as I get through the show here, but I wanted to take a moment to go, we follow artificial intelligence on this show, and I wanted to take a moment to talk a little bit about that and what I have finally come to ask. Because every time I pose a question to any local in the Abilene area, if you follow the show, which I know y'all do, we've been covering the massive Stargate Lancium project right outside of our town, 5,000 acre project. It's one of, I don't know how many of these data centers that are going to pop up over the next year and a half, 2, 3, 5 years. But seems like every couple months I hear about a new project, not just nearby, but all over the country. And most people are referring to this as the railroads, the time of the railroads when they were coming through, especially this part of the world. And it's kind of like, everybody's like, oh, well, what's the railroad going to be? This isn't going to be good. And of course, that was history, and we know the rest of the story. That's helped modernize the world. But the railroads delivered products, goods, beef, all kinds of different things, right? So my question is, I finally got it. Because everybody has an answer for the power usage. Everybody has an answer for how much water it's going to take. Everybody has an answer. Whether they actually know this to be true or not, it seems to me that I have very few friends. I have friends that are concerned about all this and have questions, but most everybody is just like, hey, man, get on board and get with it. So here's my question. What is the actual revenue that's coming from this investment? Okay? So, and then I have sort of kind of an answer to this, but we've invested publicly and privately upwards of $1 trillion, maybe more, on these AI infrastructures. Okay, so you tell me it collects data, you tell me it's for all these different things, that's fine. But is it going to create revenue? Because if it doesn't, that's a new one for me, because that's just not really how we do things around here or anywhere else in the world. So here's where I'm going to answer part of my own question. The Walmart CEO issues a wake-up call on artificial intelligence. This is the Wall Street Journal, as you all know. I read it religiously. I should probably read other religious texts as much as I read the Wall Street Journal. But, okay, so finally somebody's talking about what this could potentially be. The Walmart executives aren't sugarcoating the message. Artificial intelligence will wipe out some jobs and reshape the company's workforce. Walmart, whether you like it or not, whether I like it or not, is the country's largest private employer. And they are basically making plans to confront that reality. Here's a quote from the CEO. It's very clear that AI is going to change literally everything and every job. Let's see here. I'm looking for another good point here. So his remarks reflect a rapid shift from just months ago in how business leaders discuss the potential human cost of the technology. Companies including Ford, J.P. Morgan Chase, and Amazon have bluntly predicted job losses associated with AI. Some have advised other employers to prepare their workforces for change. So here it is, folks. Finally, we're getting a little bit of truth from these CEOs of these companies, excuse me. Does that affect you? Maybe not. Does that affect me? No, I don't work for Walmart or Amazon or any of these other places, but you know, the groups of people that tend to wave the flag of concern amongst the middle class and the lower middle class, where are they? These jobs that don't affect probably, maybe I'm assuming a lot of people that are viewing and listening to this program, they're going to affect your neighbors. And where are these people going to get employment? I've never worked at a Walmart. I've never had family members of mine that have worked at a Walmart, but there's a hell of a lot of people that do and have, and these jobs are gonna go away. It's already happened at fast food restaurants. Taco Bell, you're talking to an AI bot. You're not talking to the person behind the window. Same with McDonald's, same with all these places. And a lot of people, you know, kind of disregard these jobs, but these jobs are tons of Americans. I'm going to go ahead and say millions of Americans are counting on these types of jobs to feed their families. And this is just, what do they say? This is the tip of the iceberg. And finally, we're getting some truth from these CEOs of these major companies, because guess what's coming next, and quickly, is they're going to start making cuts. And then all these people who are living either right on or very close to or under the poverty line are all of a sudden going to not have income, and their hands are going to be out saying, who's going to help me? What? And then our system of unemployment and everything else is just going to go crazy through the roof. So this is your new future. Let's forget about the water and the power and how all this works and what it's going to take. But once these things are built, and once all these construction workers have made their money over a course of a few years, and you know they've got the people that pull the USB things out and replug them in to get this data or whatever, that there won't be people doing that for very long. That will be robotic as well. So I haven't discussed the AI situation in a little while, but here it is, folks. And it's already happening, whether you like it or not, or I like it or not. And that's because everybody's just going lockstep with all this stuff. Because yes, people are making money. Community leaders are making money off of this stuff. I don't know anyone that's making money off of this infrastructure. I don't. Everybody that I know in Abilene, that I met a gentleman 2 weeks ago at the Chili's watching football. A guy's from Trinidad. He's with the pipe fitter union, okay, via New York City. So he's out here working on this facility. He's not even from anywhere around here. So it's just very interesting, but get ready for everything to change. And could something have been done about this? No, because as the United States of America, we have to be the first ones to do it. We have to have the most of it, and we need to do it the best. That's our motto. And in most cases, I tend to agree with that. But there's another article about how we are Lockheed Martin and the Drummond one. I can't think of the name of that one, but I'm reading another article about our weapon systems are going to move to artificial intelligence. Okay, that's my mic drop. I'm not going to drop Sammy's mic, but that's my mic drop. We're gonna put our weapon systems out of human control to a degree. Well, have fun with that. We're all going to get to have lots of fun with that and see how that goes.
You know, I just watched an episode of Star Trek Voyager last night,
Nice.
And the show was about two advanced civilizations. They were basically fighting each other. They both created AI robots to fight the war. And when Voyager gets in contact with these robot people, they realize that both of the civilizations have long been extinct and that their creations are continuing this war.
Oh, wow. That's wild. And that might...
That's a possible future. That's one reason I love sci-fi.
Sci-fi is so good. You know, and I think there's so much... I don't know if you call it prediction or whatever in a lot of sci-fi movies. I'm a sci-fi movie nerd myself, and books and everything else, but the plausibility of all this stuff is real, and it's just so easy for us to laugh about Skynet and Terminator and all these things, but like when you're gonna put, and if we're doing this, then so's China, so's Russia, so's everybody else. And that is a great interjection there, Sammy. Like at some point, these systems are just going to like do their own thing probably. Who knows? I'm not trying to get too down the rabbit hole here today, but as I read this and I hear the acknowledgement from CEOs saying, we're about to cut our workforces seriously, and these are all people that are very close to the poverty line that are going to be losing these jobs. And what are we going to do with them? And meanwhile, not to get political here, but meanwhile, part of this government shutdown is about healthcare and about healthcare to at the, you know, I will be politically correct here, healthcare for undocumented people that are in this country. So what happens when our own citizens, which this is already happening and many, you can't even argue it, but like once these people are all out of a job, what do we do then? And, you know, I guess we pick these people that run everything, so we deserve a lot of this. That's my cynical mind and my dark humor. It always goes to the fact that we asked for all of this collectively. And we deserve it, no matter what happens. We deserve this. So, all right, let's get happier breakdown. I've been reading all this, and I think we're getting somewhere, albeit, in my opinion, negatively towards the AI, but we're getting to the point where people are admitting things that people have to listen to because it's about to start affecting a lot of people. And the rest of all you people in this town that are like, it's going to be great, it's going to be wonderful. Well, y'all are the people that figured out a way to profit off of this. And y'all got your palms greased with the money. And quite frankly, the funniest part about that, Abilene, in the people that are profiting off of this, is you could have got a lot more. And you didn't because you're greedy. Okay, now, I promised we were going to go in a different direction. We are. We're going to get Big Frank on the line. All right, let's hear. We're going to get him real quick. We did our Walmart. Oh, the WNBA finals are set. Phoenix Mercury versus the Las Vegas Aces. I'm not going to root. I'm going to try to make the proper picks there. The Phoenix Mercury really helped me and my boy out the other day. Before I get to Big Frank, I will mention college football. This weekend is Texas versus Florida. Florida is a beat-down, battered, not the same Florida Gators of old. And Arch Manning, the prematurely crowned prince of college football, who has not looked very good, quite frankly, he better ball out this weekend and really put it on Florida. Or, you know, Texas is going to actually have to look at itself in the mirror and say, what are we doing here? Because Texas is a 6.5-point favorite. Anything can happen. It's SEC football. I just got back from the SEC football game at Aggie Land. Florida's a serious place to play. So you never know what's going to happen. But this is one of those things. If you are who they say you are, you're going to come out and you're going to be on prime time. You better ball, and you better beat Florida big time. and you better make lots of these poor degenerate gamblers out there some money. Okay. Michigan State at Nebraska. Oh, and last weekend's picks, I had a lot of good picks, but I also didn't, I missed some. One of those was Virginia. I made a lot of fun of Virginia last week, and I had to eat that because I'm pretty sure Virginia beat the crap out of Florida State. I was like, does Virginia even have a football program? Well, yeah, this is me eating crow. Okay. Notre Dame also. I liked Arkansas to make noise, and they did not make noise. Yeah, Florida State at Virginia was my lead pipe lock of the weekend. So, hope you faded Ben on some of this stuff. Let's see. Also, Illinois. I think I missed that one. Okay, I did, however, get the Auburn A&M pick correctly. Oh, here we go. I loved the LSU at Ole Miss. I don't know if I picked, but I ended up picking Ole Miss to upset, and they did. And that was a pick'em game. Ooh, and then another one. Oregon at Penn State. I picked Penn State to win, and that was another epic blunder of Penn State. Dude, that guy's in so much trouble. Hot seat. If that seat can't be any hotter than James Franklin right now at Penn State. Holy crap. Okay, let's see here. Texas Tech at Houston. Tech's an 11-point favorite. Houston, I don't know who they are this year. They made the playoff, I believe, last year, so they're not the same team. Oh, it says ACU talk. My note says talk about ACU. ACU lost to Incarnate Word last weekend. ACU is not the same team that we were following and covering last year, unfortunately, due to the name, image, and likeness money and the transfer portal. They lost Maverick McGiver. They lost Sam. I think his name was Sam Ward. They lost. I can't think of his name, but they lost like so many of their offensive powerhouse guys, and they are falling quickly in the rankings this season, which is sad because I kind of thought they would, be able to get in some more dudes to either replace those guys or not lose those guys. But anyways, let's continue on. Miami at Florida State. Okay, so I was wrong last week about Florida State at Virginia. So I'm going to go ahead and say that Miami covers the 4.5 points because, in my opinion, Miami is one of the best teams in college football right now. I love to watch them. They're electric. They're really putting it on people. You never know what Florida State's going to do, but hey, who knows? Let's see. Yeah, I said Mississippi State at the Aggies this weekend. The Aggies are a 14.5-point favorite. We talked about this. Yikes, yikes, yikes. They better play better than last weekend. Ole Miss defeated LSU. Okay. I will call Big Frank in just about 5 minutes after my annual, now that we've been doing this for a while, my annual Super Bowl halftime show rant, as I'm going to call it. So this is they have chosen, Rock, it's Jay-Z's company. It's like Rock Entertainment and Apple. It's the Apple Music halftime show. So this year they have chosen the reggaeton, I think that's what you call it, artist Bad Bunny, who is Puerto Rican, and he has a massive following. I think he gets the most views on like streaming and TikTok and all this stuff with the kids. The young people love Bad Bunny. I get it. It's cool. So of course this has political polarizing elements to it. So the Department of whatever at the Trump administration has basically said there will be ICE agents at the Super Bowl, and Bad Bunny, is, they're making threats to detain this guy. And to my knowledge, he's Puerto Rican. I just Wikipedia'd it. So he's Puerto Rican. So that means he's a citizen of the United States. So I don't know how all that works, but man, these are polarizing times. But Bad Bunny aside, I miss the days when we had Prince. When Prince did Purple Rain at the Super Bowl, it started raining. How cool is that? Michael Jackson's is one of the most iconic Super Bowl performances of all time. Even in 2021, The Weeknd, when Ariana came out, that was a great show. It started to fall off over the last few years. And Kendrick Lamar was last year. I had a rant about that. Not that I don't appreciate the music. I like all kinds of music. But certain types of music don't make for a great entertainment product. Okay? Shakira and J-Lo. That was a great show. Katy Perry and her big old lion thing that she came out on, I'm just randomly kind of coming up with shows that come to my mind that were just epic. I said this last year on the show. Lady Gaga's performance was one of the craziest I've ever seen. She jumped off the top of the stadium on a wire and performed all of her crazy huge hits. Kendrick Lamar, Bad Bunny. It doesn't hit. And I, at the risk of me, being an out of touch, old white guy or whatever, I don't know. I'm missing the performance, the theatrical entertainment value of this. And I think it kind of started around the time that Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg and Eminem came out with their halftime show. I happen to love the Chronic and the Chronic 2 albums. I got those, from a friend's older brother or something in 2001. I love a lot of hip hop rap music, Tupac, Snoop Dogg, Ice Cube, all these dudes. Obviously Dr. Dre. But that's not a great it doesn't make for a good show. It just doesn't, So to close my rant, what the rumor mill has said is that Taylor Swift was basically asked to do the show. And I'm not a Swiftie, guys. I do love, like I've said. I love the little Swiftie and Travis Kelce story. But that is a mega global mega pop star. And a Taylor Swift show would be insane, whether I like her or not, or like that kind of music or not. But the rumor mill has it that she turned it down. Now, then they went to Adele, which Adele would be another pretty wild one, right? Now, Adele, the rumor has it, heard that Taylor turned it down, so Adele finds out that she's the second choice, so now she turns it down. Because that's how these people with these ginormous egos work in this, music industry. Who knows if that's true? I don't know, but it tracks, as the kids say. That tracks. So now, for a while there, in the old days, they were having the Who and, I think Aerosmith and maybe the Rolling Stones. Somebody's, for a while there, and I love those bands too, but that was not really tracking with a large cross section of ages of people, of demographics. So I understand that wasn't really the right move. We don't need Bruce Springsteen. We don't, need any of these types. But, we've got some electrifying American pop stars. It is, although Shakira is from Colombia or whatever, but we have had some people from different countries and stuff perform here. But I just think we could do better. I already know what this Bad Bunny show is going to be like. I can already tell you what it'll be like. And there'll be some production value, but whatever. And I don't see how, I think it's pretty funny that just because he has some different views on the immigration situation, that the president and the MAGA crowd are coming out, with fists flying about how are you going to pick this guy. Who cares? I don't care about that, honestly. I just care that we get a good, entertaining show. And quite frankly, Rihanna's a couple years ago was one of the worst I've ever seen. The worst. She just stood there and just kind of like sort of sang her songs. And, I just think I miss the good old days of the Super Bowl halftime shows. End of rant. Okay, I'm calling in Big Frank. We're going to talk NFL. Hopefully I didn't get him too late. We'll see. Says his flight's at 1:30. We'll find out if we got him.
Hello.
Hey, Big Frank. What's up?
What's going on, buddy? How are you?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good over here. I'm licking my wounds a little bit over that blocked field goal. I haven't even talked anything NFL yet today. I haven't talked anything NFL. I was going to wait till you got on the phone.
Listen, it's amazing. That was one of the weirdest games I've ever seen. If you have any type of quarterback, or if you would have just handed the ball off to your running backs, you would have beat us by about 2 to 3 scores. It's just every time you guys would start moving down the field because we couldn't stop the run, okay?
Right.
And then they would decide to throw a pass. We had 3 interceptions and 1 fumble recovery, 4 turnovers, and it only accounted for 6 points. All we got out of those 4 turnovers was 2 field goals because we couldn't convert when our defense, every time we wanted to throw the ball, we would come up big. But if you would have just ran the ball, you would have ran for over 300 yards. I think the final totals were you ran for like 260 yards or something like that. And I think the stats go for any team that's rushed that much, they're like 85% chance of winning the ball game. But for some reason, you guys didn't want to stick to it, and then they went to go throw the ball, and then they would turn it over. And actually, you still should have beat us because how often do you block a field goal? You just get lucky. And for once, we were always on the opposite end of those things. It happened good for us. So
yeah, and I at the end of it, I was listening to it on my way home from College Station. But
yeah,
I mean, I was like, whatever. At this point, we just need to tank. We just need to tank for another. I don't know. It's just I'm glad you guys got the win at the end of the day because Geno Smith dumpster fire.
Oh my God, it was horrible. His stat line, like I said, is 3 interceptions, and then they had a fumble recovery too. I think it was in there, and your rookie there, he finally showed the reason why they drafted him. I think he ran for almost 150 yards or something.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Jackson, we couldn't stop him. I mean, literally, you couldn't stop the run. We're sitting there as we're watching the game. I know we sent you the video there at the end because we were watching it, at the truck in my son's driveway. But it's like we kept on saying, why don't they just continue to run the ball? Because we wouldn't even be in the game because we couldn't stop the run. So even if you would just run it and then kick a field goal instead of getting a touchdown, you still would have beat us. But every time they tried to pass, we picked it off. It was like, come on. I mean,
yeah, it was just
I don't quite
awful.
Understand. Yeah.
So okay, I don't have my screen in front of me. Who you got this weekend, or is this a bye week?
Well, actually, this is a bye week, and
okay.
I was texting you. I'm at the airport right now because. Diane, my wife, she always, I'm football fanatic, right? We don't go anywhere because even if we're not at home, we're always doing tailgates and driveways and stuff. So whenever the schedule comes out and there's a bye week, especially if it's early, she goes, okay, let's go. We're going away somewhere.
Yeah.
So we're heading out to the East Coast today. We're going to head up towards Vermont, New Hampshire, that area. We haven't been up there I guess it's beautiful for the fall this time of year.
Oh, yeah.
So, we'll leave today and come back Tuesday, so then we're ready for the rest of the year. And then, she can't bother me anymore about getting away because it's football season.
Oh, that's so great. So y'all are going to go on a little foliage tour.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
man,
so
that's the most beautiful place for that.
I've never been up that way. I don't know if you have, but everybody keeps on telling us it's one of our bucket list trips is like just to go out east and drive.
Oh, you're going to love it.
We're going to fly. to Burlington and then just get in the car and just take off and drive. So, and hopefully be around bars where we can watch some games.
That's
I'd like
right.
to watch tonight's game somewhere and then on the weekend to see what's going on. But yeah, we have a bye week this week. We don't play till when we come back. We play Monday night, national televised against the Washington Commanders.
There you go. Well,
yeah.
Oh, I was going to tell you, you can think about us here. It's 96 degrees yesterday.
I know. It's even by us at home, it's like we're still in the 80s. It's like, it's crazy. We have had our air conditioning back on. It's just goofy, weather-wise. So
Crazy.
Can't complain, though. Pretty soon
right.
It's going to be sub-zero around here with snow. So
That's right. So who do you like? So no Brock Purdy tonight. The Rams are an 8.5-point favorite. Not that really matters, but I think that's for a better. I think it's a little bit of a trap game. But I mean,
it is.
but like I think it could still be a good game, or else we're gonna trend towards these Thursday night games kind of being like the old Thursday night games.
The problem with that is if you notice when the line on that first came out, it was only 3.5. But San Francisco is a walking mash unit. If you look at their injury report, nobody's playing in this game tonight. I mean, Purdy's been out, and then their top two receivers are out, and then somebody else. So that's why Vegas is telling you they want that 8.5 is unheard of in the NFL. You know what I mean? For two pretty good teams. So I think the Rams. My take on it is I think the Rams are going to win, and I think they could win big because San Francisco is just hurt like really bad.
Right.
So I think that's the issue with that game right there. Is it 8.5 points? I don't know. That's another one.
Yeah.
Take a look at the Cowboys and the Packers that Sunday night. Okay. And I'm sitting there and I'm rooting for the Cowboys to win because that helps us out.
Yeah.
Right. And that was one where offense just kept on going, and then there's no D. And I'm sure everybody said, just like we talked, I think we thought the Packers would roll them, especially coming off their loss from Cleveland and the week before. But it's just like it's one of those where nobody could stop anybody.
Right.
And so that could be the case tonight. I think the Rams are going to win it, but are they going to win it by 8.5? I mean, I don't know. So
yeah, that's crazy. There's not a lot of games this weekend, actually. It doesn't look like.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I haven't looked at, like I say, when it's a bye week. I'm not looking at the schedule, too much. But
okay, now here we go. We do have an interesting one for me is the Commanders at the Chargers, because the Chargers kind of chargered over the weekend,
Correct. Yes.
And the Commanders, I believe, will have Jaden Daniels back.
Yeah, but I don't know if they're as good, as they were last year. With Jaden Daniels, I think he came up. It's always that. It's the same thing with that C.J. Stroud effect in Houston. Their first year, he was all over the place. Now everybody knows what to expect from him, and these can kind of scheme up for him. So they're not really playing that well. So that could be a tough one. I like San Diego in that game though, because I don't think the Commanders are as good as they think they are.
Yeah. How about my Raiders have the Colts, man? I feel like the Colts could beat us by 100 points potentially.
Well, especially since they came off a tough loss. I think the Rams, if I'm not mistaken, beat them last week kind of at the end. And I don't know if you've seen that play where the guy was going in for a score and he dropped the ball before he got to the end zone and it rolled out the back. So instead of the Colts getting the touchdown, they don't get nothing and they wound up losing, and that cost them the game.
Right.
So the Colts could actually be undefeated. So you guys are going to have your hands full with them, especially if and I'm going to tell you something. Max Crosby, I don't get a chance to see many Raiders games because obviously you guys are West Coast, but that guy is a stud, man. I'm telling you, that guy is a maniac.
Yeah, he's incredible, and as much as I love the guy, he deserves to be on a better program. You know what I mean? I hate to say it.
And he had a chance to go when he was going through his contract. He could have left, but no, he re-signed. And maybe because they could get more money if they re-signed with their teams, but maybe he thought that they could turn it around. But I mean, that guy was wrecking havoc on it. I mean, he had an interception. He's all over the board. Nobody could block him. I mean, again, I don't get a chance to see him, but I don't know why he's not in, defensive player of the year every year, because that guy's just, you have to literally game plan to stay away from that guy, because he wrecks you no matter what you do. So you always have a chance. You always have a chance with him on D, but it's just a matter of if Gino could come through every once in a while and not just turn the ball over. You know what I mean? If you don't turn over, you're going to be a hell of a lot better. But when you turn the ball over 4 times in a game, your chances of winning are really slim.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I gotta think, they paid him a bunch of money, but I mean, do they sit him? I don't even know who our backup is right now, honestly. But
yeah,
it's kind of like, do you sit the guy for a week or two to let him kind of get his head right, or what?
Well, there's a lot of quarterbacks in the league that are hurting now that a lot of subs are playing. I mean, Minnesota's guy, they're losing with him too. They've got 2 losses now. And then, everybody, when your main quarterback goes down, you got to have a decent backup. And Cleveland's already sacked Flacco, I heard, and he's not going to play this week. So they're kind of switching around. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know who the backup is, but can he be really any worse than what he's doing?
Yeah, it's Gabriel. I can't think of his first name. Last name Gabriel.
Yeah.
And they're like, did you see the weird interview thing that Shedeur Sanders, how he was miming?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Like, this kid's got to quit acting like a goofball, or he won't even last another year in the league.
Absolutely. If I'm the Raiders, or even the other team that escapes me right now, Cincinnati. I mean, that backup quarterback for them is killing them. They were getting blown out. I mean, why aren't you calling about the availability of Kirk Cousins in Atlanta?
Exactly.
Unless he's got his money contract is out of there. But that guy is 100% better than any of those 2 guys. And, you're still, I mean, I think the Raiders are 2-2 now still, like 2-2 or something like that. And so is Cleveland. Cincinnati. So your season's not lost. So why not try to salvage it and go after that?
Right.
I don't understand. So, oh well.
Yeah, pretty crazy. Well, I'm excited for tonight. Yeah. And then we have, I've been kind of getting into the baseball a little bit, but I'm going to still wait for a little bit on that. But But the Cubs are still got another game today, I think.
Yeah, they won Tuesday, and then they lost yesterday. So today is the best of this is it. There's a few of them. I think the only one that ended was the Dodgers when they beat the Reds, but everybody else is at final game 3. So, I mean, I caught a little bit of it just because, it's baseball.
Right.
But still, I mean, I can't get into it that much,
Right.
So it's like, it was just, there was nothing else on. I was watching it. So.
Well, we are going to have a little WNBA. The finals are set. Phoenix Mercury and the Vegas Aces. I'm kind of excited to watch that.
Yeah. Well, then I was also, the big news around here and everything is that I think that it was that AJ Wilson from the Lynx or something like that. Totally just lambasted the president of the WNBA.
I heard that. I saw it. That was so wild.
I'll tell you what, if you haven't seen it, just Google it or something, or see her whole, I mean, it was like a 3 or 4 minute speech that she was reading from. And I've never seen a player blast on, the commissioner of the league or whatever.
Yeah.
And said that we need to make some changes big time, so. That's the big thing about
Well,
here.
I didn't realize that they don't even have private planes or anything.
No,
and
they don't. They
I
do
know
all
that
charter stuff.
and the response from the commissioner was basically like, well, if it weren't for us, then you wouldn't be famous.
Yeah, correct. Like her big thing was, that Caitlin Clark and Paige Beckers and all those ones should thank the WNBA for all their endorsements, because they make more money off than they do because of us, which is exactly the opposite.
Exactly.
The WNBA is making more off of them. So I wouldn't be surprised within the next couple of days, or I don't even know if it'd be a week, where she just doesn't resign and get out of there, because she's taking a lot of slack. Because every time she tries to answer somebody, I guess she just puts her foot in her mouth.
Yes.
And just makes a real dumb statement. So
absolutely.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's a change there coming. So.
Well, heck yeah. Well, Big Frank, I hope you guys have a great trip and enjoy the beautiful scenery.
I will.
And
I'll be back on Tuesday, so we'll be able to hook up on Thursday also. So
That
and
sounds
I'll try to
great.
catch some games this week and see what's going on. So
Heck yeah,
all right.
we'll take some pictures and send them to us so we can put them on the show.
I will. So you did get the video of the tailgate last week, right? The truck that we sent you.
Oh yeah, we
Seeing
got
us all
that.
screaming.
Yeah, we got that on the show today too. While you and I were talking.
All right, sounds good, buddy. I'll talk to you next week.
All right, you have a great day, Big Frank. See ya.
Take care. Bye.
All right, Big Frank's going to do a little foliage tour up in Maine and Vermont and stuff. How cool is that? All right. And then, yeah, I've been getting into some baseball. I'm just going to give it a shot when there's no football on, whatever. But Big Frank, thanks for joining us. You always make the show better, as I say, because it's true. I guess tonight, Niners at Rams could be just an ultimate letdown of a Thursday night football game, or it could be exciting, but we shall see. I'm not going to touch this game. I will make a prediction, but don't put in your allowance on it. I think this could be one of those deals where the Rams win they cover the 8.5 points, and maybe they win by like 3 touchdowns because the Niners are just completely depleted and don't have a quarterback. So, oh yes, and you know how I like to do this here at the breakdown. I like to get something interesting towards the very end that doesn't really matter. There is a new book that I'm going to be reading. It's called American Kings by Seth Wickersham. He goes on the Dan Patrick Show a lot, but it is basically it's a quarterback book. It's about the American quarterback and like kind of how all that works. And from what I hear, it's going to be a really good book. Now, what's interesting to me, below that article, it's called The Sweet History of a Bean. And it's about vanilla ice cream and vanilla beans. And I did not know this, but despite high demand for vanilla, growing the beans still requires manual pollination. I did not know that. Okay, I'm going to read a little bit of this and we're going to close it out. How did the inconspicuous tropical orchid vanilla planifolia, unable to reproduce without the help of a tiny co-evolved insect found only within their shared Mesoamerican ecological niche, achieve stardom in the kitchens around the globe? What a cool article. Like, if you want to just not have a care in the world and read about vanilla beans, can't beat it. Can't even beat it. All right. Well, I hope everyone here enjoyed the show. I know I did, as I do. And I'd like to thank my producer extraordinaire, technical producer extraordinaire, Sam Wolf, for all the help here, a.k.a. Sammy to me. And check out the Travie Wavy before this show. That is going to be a very interesting one. I do recommend that one. And as they say, like, subscribe, throw a comment out there. Go Texas Tech this weekend. Let's go Aggies against Mississippi State. Yeah. Y'all have a great day and a lovely weekend, and maybe we'll get some more fall weather trying to come in here, and it won't be 100 degrees tomorrow. Wouldn't that be nice? Anyways, thanks again, Sammy, and thanks everybody for joining us. This has been The Breakdown with your not-so-humble talking hairdo, Ben. Have a great day.